This is Strictly Business, presented by the Greater Bakersfield Chamber of Commerce. Sponsored in part by the law offices of Young Wooldridge, San Joaquin Community Hospital.
And good morning and welcome to Strictly Business for Monday, April the 20th, 2015. I'm Nathan Ollie, Manager of Government Affairs at the Greater Bakersfield Chamber of Commerce. And coming up on today's show, we have Brandon Evans, Program Director for the Kern County Department of Human Services. And Brandon's here to explain why Bakersfield's JobFest 2015 is not just for job seekers. And then we'll have Robin Paggi, Training Coordinator from WorkLogic HR, and she'll explain why staying connected constantly can have a negative impact on your work productivity and how you can curb that. Later on, we'll have Amber Chang, Director of Marketing and Public Relations at BC, and she'll join us to discuss the various events the college has coming up through the end of the school year. And finally, Glenn Bland, owner of Bland Solar and Air, will discuss an upcoming event his company is partnering with the Chamber on. But first, let's take a look at some business news that you can use. The state has unveiled its draft water conservation requirements. They unveiled the second draft of these mandatory regulations on Saturday. The Californian reported that under the draft measures, local residents would be required to slash their water usage by 32 to 36%, depending on where they get their water from. The Water Board is currently accepting public comment on the proposed regulations, and final adoption of the regulations should occur later this month. Local schools are doing their part to cut back on water use. The Californian reported that several districts, including the Norris and Standard school districts, are only watering their grass 3 times a week. And other districts, like the Kern High School District, are looking into adding concrete or artificial turf to cut down on their water use. CSUB has already cut its water usage down 10% and will implement a plan for the full 25% reduction over the next 3 months. Bakersfield College has made facility changes, implemented upgrades, and has more water-saving programs in the works to conserve more. The Los Angeles Times has reported a new report from the state's Legislative Analyst's Office, which has found that on a statewide level, the drought is unlikely to do significant damage. Although farmers have been hard hit by the drought, and certainly we feel those effects here in Kern County, the LAO's report found that agriculture makes up 2% of the state's gross domestic product, and the lasting impact on the state's overall economy is unlikely to be lasting. Also sticking in Kern County, the CEO of Era Energy LLC has announced his retirement after leading the local oil company for 7 years. Gordy Bannister Jr.'s retirement will be effective in mid-July, and Christina Sistrunk, a vice president for Shell Oil, has been selected to take over as the new CEO at Era Energy. The Bakersfield tourism sector continues to strengthen. The Kern Business Journal reported that the county's travel and tourism sectors are continuing to flourish due in large part to increased hotel revenues. Those revenues came in at $901 million for the 2014-15 fiscal year. Other strong signs in the local tourism sector include new hotel construction, higher attendance rates at local museums and event venues, and increased ridership on Amtrak trains. In other employment news, Kern County is definitely the place to be for engineers. NerdWallet, that's a real publication, NerdWallet, ranked the best metropolitan areas in the country for engineers, and Kern County ranked 19th in the United States and 2nd in the state of California. The study looked at several factors, including the size of the engineering industry and income levels, both of which Kern County scored high on. Looking at the Bakersfield market, literally, 2 Vons stores are set to close. The Californian reported that 2 Vons grocery stores in Bakersfield will close their doors by May the 16th. The closures impact the Vons locations on Olive Drive and Stein Road. Albertsons LLC, the store's parent company, says the stores aren't meeting company financial goals, and they hope to offer jobs elsewhere to the store's combined 105 workers. The other Vons stores located in Bakersfield will remain open. On the housing front, the Bakersfield Californians reported that the median home price in Bakersfield fell nearly 4% in March to $208,800. A preliminary report by local appraiser Gary Crabtree found that demand for homes surged, but the supply fell flat. While Crabtree says the March report is strange, he says he's confident the local market is poised for a significant price increase. Taking a look at state news, the high-speed rail contingency plan is approved. The Fresno Bee reported that the California High-Speed Rail Authority has set the contingency fund of $261.2 million for the 65-mile segment of high-speed rail between Fresno and Kern County. The amount is about $32 million more than originally planned due to changing schedules and cost risks. The contingency plan is in addition to the $1.37 billion contract awarded to a Spanish-led construction consortium. And in other news, the Bakersfield JobFest 2015 is coming in May, but job seekers aren't the only ones that will benefit from this event. And here to tell us a little more about that is Brandon Evans. He's the program director for the Kern County Department of Human Services. Good morning, and thanks for being here, Brandon. We appreciate it.
Good morning, Nathan. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So tell us a little bit about JobFest, where and when and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, JobFest is just the biggest event that this county has as it relates to economic stimulus.
Okay.
So, as you just mentioned in your intro, it's not just for job seekers, it's for employers. Last year, we had over 3,000 job seekers show up. And so if you're an employer who's got valid openings and you're interested in hiring good people, there's going to be one of those 3,000 people or maybe dozens of those 3,000 people that are going to be interested in working for you, that are going to be showing up that day ready to go to work.
That's terrific. And when and where is the event right off the top?
Yeah, it's May 21st.
Okay.
And it's 9 to 12 over at the Robert Bank Convention Center.
Oh, great. So a great big venue, lots of space for people to get out and check out the employers. So what can job seekers expect when they come to the Job Fest for the first time?
They can expect multiple employers who have hiring needs that they can satisfy.
Okay.
And so, Kern County as a whole, Bakersfield in particular, is large enough that a lot of job seekers only job search in certain geographic areas. On this one day in 3 hours, you'll have 160 employers ready to hire good qualified folks all in one setting.
Okay. And what would you recommend that a job seeker brings with them?
Well, they need to bring, 30 or 40 resumes.
Okay.
They also need to bring, a great appearance in terms of their dress.
Dress like you're preparing for an interview.
Exactly.
Right, okay.
And because there will be interviews that day. Last year at our event, we had over 130 people hired that day alone.
Outstanding.
And so the other thing, though, that a lot of people don't think is they need to come ready to compete because they're going to be there with 3,000 other people, and those employers are going to have a lot of folks to choose from. And so not only do they need to come with a resume, they need to come with a great attitude, a nice firm handshake, and an intro that helps get the attention of the employer.
It's definitely a buyer's market with more employees, potential employees out there than folks that are looking to hire. But let's say I am a business and I want to hire. I've got some staffing needs that I need to fill. How can I get involved?
Okay, well, they can call me. Again,
Okay.
My phone number is 631-6041. 631-6041, and I have a team that's ready to take those phone calls and get you on. We have about 60 or so, 70 employers that are already signed up. As I mentioned, we're going to tap out at 160 because you just really can't fit any more in that building.
Sure.
And so any employer that's interested, they need to get us called and let us get them signed up.
Now, you mentioned some numbers a little earlier, and I know that JobFest isn't just held here in Bakersfield, but throughout the county. What's the significance about that? How has that really helped countywide?
Well, okay, so we have smaller events in all the general communities throughout the county, and we have so far had 182 people hired, and those are from places like Lamont, Mojave, and Lake Isabella and Shafter.
Okay.
And so, as I mentioned, we had over 130 hired last year at this one event. We had, a hiring manager from Crystal Geyser who's doing hiring for them now was hired at this event last year.
Oh, terrific.
And so, the impact is huge. And I'll give you one quick example. Last year at the end of the event, had a couple young gentlemen come up to me, and they had big smiles on their faces, and I asked about it, and they had just been hired by RailX, which is an employer out of Delano. That's the type of impact of this event, is those two young men would have never gone to Delano to look for a job.
No.
The job came to them, and they were able to take advantage of it.
Walk in with a resume, walk out with a job. That's
Exactly.
a terrific A terrific way to look at it. So again, the date and time,
May 21st, 9 to 12.
okay, and that's at the Rabobank Convention Center downtown.
Correct.
Okay, and real quick, one more time, your phone number just to let people know how they can get involved.
631-6041.
Okay.
631-6041.
Brandon Evans with the Kern County Department of Human Services. We're looking forward to another exciting job fest, and we'll see if we can't get those job numbers boosted a little bit
That's
for
right.
you. All right, thanks very much for being
Thank
here.
you.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this with more Strictly Business. Stay tuned.